Hey everybody, my name is Natalie Duncan-Emmons. I wanted to thank you for listening to this episode of The Morning Show. I'm the creator, the producer, and the host of the show. We want you to check out our website. It's themorningshowwithnatalie.com. You can go to that website. You can see all about our sponsors, all about the show. You can even listen to live episodes while they're going on right there from the website. Another way to listen to the show live is go to Live 365. You can download that app and just search for The Morning Show. It's right there. Super easy. We want you to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you will. That way you can keep up with what's going on the morning show. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it.
My name is Natalie Duncan-Emmons. You are listening to The Morning Show. It's Throwback Thursday. And, well, today is a throwback that I've been waiting for and wanting to do ever since we started Throwback Thursday. It's to one of my all-time favorite groups ever and to probably one of the greatest performers of all time in gospel music, and that's to Tony Gore and Majesty. There were 3 tenor singers that sang with that group over the lifetime of its existence, and we just happen to have probably the best tenor that they ever had. He's been a lifetime friend of our family, Mr. Jason Runnels. Good morning, Jason.
Hey, good morning, Natalie. How are you?
Look, we're hanging in there. Good days and bad days, but mostly good days. What about you?
Man, I am great. God has been good, and it is so good to talk to you. It's been forever.
I don't really remember the last time. Jason, it may have been at surely not ski retreat. Surely that wasn't the last time I saw you. Has it been since then?
Probably so.
That's been 22 years ago,
Plus,
probably.
yeah,
It's been a long time.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah, we won't. We won't.
We have connected some off and on through the years, but I don't think we've seen each other in a really long time.
It's been a long time.
Let's establish who you are for our listeners who may not know. I want to make sure that they understand that you've had a very successful career in the industry as well. Not only did you spend a good bit of time with Tony Gore, I think about 4 years that you spent in the height of that group. You've also been with the Down East Boys. You've had a solo career, and I believe you're in ministry with your son now. Am I close on all of that?
That is correct. I was with Tony for 5. After Tony, I went with the Down East Boys Quartet. I sang with them for 10, and I have now had my own solo ministry up until 2 years ago when my son joined me. But for 9 years, we've had our own family ministry. Yes, that is correct.
Well, I want to point this out because we are located right, you know where we are, right here in mid-Mississippi, out in the rural areas. And everybody around here is going to know or remember your dad. And he has always been very special to me. I actually saw him just a couple of weeks ago, and it was so special just to get to make my picture with him. It just flooded me with memories from when I was a kid and growing up. And that's Mr. Stan Runnels. How long has Mr. Stan Runnels been with the Revelations? Because everybody around here knows the Revelations. I mean, they've been going for a long, long time. Jason, do you have any numbers to put with that?
From what I understand, this year will be 54 years that he's been a part of the Revelations. He's owned it as far as like sole ownership. After Jimmy Dale Miles left, who was the original owner, when he stepped down and passed it on to my dad, I think my dad has had it 44, 45 years now on his own.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a long time. He has been, I mean, steadfast with this group. They mainly travel, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama. But yeah, I mean, long time.
Well, he's been faithful at what he does. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And big part of why I'm where I am.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all here because of what somebody else invested in us along the way. Well, I just wanted everybody to know a lot or something about Jason Runnels, and we're going to come back, Jason, before you leave this morning. I want to know more about that solo career and your family ministry that you've got going on. But you're here today, right now, to help us to remember and maybe pay a little tribute to Tony Gore and Majesty. Obviously, Tony Gore himself played a huge role in that group. I don't know of another man that ever walked out on stage and had any more influence or effect on me than Tony Gore did. He influenced how I attempt to connect with others when I sing. He influenced how I attempt to sing. He influenced how I maybe deliver the message, because he was a master. He was just the master of all of that, and possibly one of the greatest performers that we can ever claim to be one of ours. Do you agree with all of that, Jason?
Oh, absolutely, wholeheartedly. When I got started, I was actually singing with a regional group called Emerald City Quartet. I was living in Senatobia, Mississippi, and I actually we sang on a program with the Inspirations. And at the time, we were with Daywin, and a guy by the name of David Wilcox was our producer and engineer and all. And both of them had told Tony about me because he was looking for a tenor singer to take the place of Greg Cook, who was leaving. And so Tony contacted me and we talked. He had me drive over. At the time, that was back when Daniel Riley, who is obviously, I mean, everybody knows Daniel with Gold City, Tim Riley's son. And Daniel was singing baritone for Tony at the time. And they had me come over and just basically just come in, get to know me, sing 3 or 4 songs together just to kind of see, how it sounded. I was new to it. I mean, heck, I was 25, 26 years old. So, I mean, I was very young. And so going in, I was extremely nervous. But it went well. We had a good interview. We had a good time singing. I got to meet Daniel, get to know him. Tony said, "Look, I got a couple other people I'm gonna try out, but as far as I'm concerned, man," he said, "Look, yeah, I haven't heard anything I like better than what I've heard today." He said, "But, let me get back to you." I said, "Okay." So he, within a day or two, I mean, he called me back, said, "When can you be here?" So I was like, "Oh gosh." He said, "Well, Greg is trying to be done by the end of the year. I would like, for you to be here to start, January 1, because we've got some big stuff coming up." So I never will forget. I went over the 1st of January of that year. I got on the bus, and our very first concert, we were in Wilmington, North Carolina, and it was us, the Gold City, the Perrys, and I can't remember who the other. It was another group,
just
but
a small
yeah.
concert.
So yeah, I mean, there was like 1,500 people there, and it was at this high school auditorium. And I walk out on stage, and I'm just, I mean, I'm blown away. And I had one song. I had one song I was supposed to sing that night. It came my time to sing, and Natalie, I swear I forgot the words. Midway through, I was so in awe, I forgot the words.
I'm surprised you remembered
you know,
any of them, Jason. You got a
and
few.
but Tony was, of course he laughed,
Yeah,
and he made a
yeah.
joke about me being new. Well, when I came off the stage, Tim Riley was sitting there, and when I walked by me, he said, "Hey, boy." I said, "What?" He said, "We're all new the first time." But, I will say this as far as what you're talking about. Tony was a stickler for phrasing, for pitch, for tone, so that everybody is matching tones and sounding the same. And I know for people that don't sing, they may not understand that, but it's the way you sing to match what everybody else is doing. But he was a stickler for the way things went. It was, I mean, and honestly, it was his group and it was his way or the highway. But you know what? That's what made that group
It's
what
what
it
put
was.
it's what put
He
you on the
was.
level that you were on. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But now, beyond that, when it came to just coming out and singing, Tony has, to this day. I mean, he still sings some solo. He has a restaurant, and he still sings some solo. But when I hear him sing, even to this day, when he walks out, man, he just has a presence. I mean, it's just an anointing. It's all I can say. I mean, he just has a
Yeah.
way of connecting with you on a level that, honestly, Natalie, I don't know of very few other artists, whether it be,
Yeah.
secular, country, rock, pop, gospel. I mean, there's just very few people that have that God-given talent to connect with people.
And
And,
Jason,
and you know,
Jason, I want to stop you because I want us to come back and spend a few minutes talking just about what you're talking about. I'm going to stop and play a song.
Absolutely.
Let's stop and play a song and kind of so it kind of keeps things going. And you said to me when we were just talking before the interview started, you said that everybody loves and associates with Tony Gore and Majesty. I'll put on a crown and walk around. And, you know, how long have you guys been like out? I mean, Tony Gore has and Majesty has not been touring in how many years, Jason? I mean, how many years has it been?
2002,
Has it been 20 years?
2001.
Okay,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's been over.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
it's
been
been 20 years. And here it is, 2022. And on the morning show, we play this all the time. We crank it up. Here's Tony Gore and Majesty, put on a crown and walk around. It gets us going all the time. So these songs and this group just doesn't die. I mean, it's still alive and well, at least in mid-Mississippi. On the morning show, it is. So we're going to take a break and we're going to play this one. Here it is. It'll get us going. Put on a crown, walk around. We'll come back and finish what Jason's talking about.
You're saved tonight, say amen. I can't hear you. If you're glad you're saved tonight, say amen. I'm on my journey to that city for square, and my faith in the love of God I surely will enter there. With some glad tomorrow, with the saints I'll stand. I'll put on a crown and walk around all over God's promised land. Oh, glory, what a wonderful day. I'll join the song of the blood-washed throne while the angels roll away. When I get to heaven on that beautiful strand, I'll put on a crown and walk around all over God's promised land. Yeah. Now there will be no dying, no more trouble or strife. We will live through the ages by the beautiful tree of life. And when I join that chorus, heaven's happy band, gonna put on a crown and walk around all over that promised land. Oh, glory, what a wonderful day. I'll join the song of the blood-washed throne while the angels roll away. When I get to heaven on that beautiful strand, I'll put on a crown and walk around all over God, sing it one more time. Oh, glory, what a wonderful day. I'll join the song of the blood-washed throne while the angels roll away. When I get to heaven on that beautiful strand, I'll put on a crown and walk around all over God's promised land. We're gonna put on a crown and walk around all over God's promised land. When I join that chorus, heaven's happy band, we're gonna put on a crown, we're gonna walk around all over that promised land. Glory, what a wonderful day. I'll join the song of the blood-washed throne while the angels roll away. When I get to heaven on that beautiful strand, I'll put on a crown and walk around all over God, sing it one more time. Oh, glory, what a wonderful day. I'll join the song of the blood-washed throne while the angels roll away. When I get to heaven on that beautiful strand, I'll put on a crown and walk around all over God's promised land. We're gonna put on a crown and walk around all over God's promised land.
right,
Okay.
Jason, I want to go back to what you're saying because that's exactly what I want to iterate and point out about Tony Gore. He was a remarkable singer, yes, but it was more than his vocal ability. There was a presence about the man that when he walked out,
Yeah.
he commanded that stage, and whatever you were doing, you stopped and you listened to what he was singing and what he had to say. You watch those live videos that he did, and those people were just enthralled and just captivated, with what was
Oh
going on
yeah.
the stage. So, look, you finished. I hated to stop you, but I wanted to get a song in. I want you to elaborate. You stood on the stage with him. I never did. I sat out in the audience many times. I never stood on stage with him. What did it feel like to stand up there with that kind of a man and performer who could control a stage like that?
Honestly, I mean, I was in awe as much as the crowd was. I mean, you stand there and you're a part of something that's bigger than the genre. I mean, he was, and the thing about Tony was, it wasn't just on stage. Tony was Tony, whether he was on stage or off. I
Right.
mean, I mean, you could, I would watch him, and this is where I learned how to work a stage. I learned how to connect with a crowd. I learned how to present a song. I learned every bit of this from Tony. I learned how to pitch my product table from Tony. I mean, he was a master at what he did. But the thing I liked I mean, I would stand at night and watch him sometimes. And I mean, look, you sung, you know how it is when you're at the record table and these people come up to you and you get all these people coming up. They want an autograph. They want to talk to you. And you got these people that'll come up and then they have these long drawn out stories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I never saw Tony ever cut anybody short. He always would stand and somebody else could come up and try to talk to him and he would just hold his finger
Yeah,
up.
I've
Hang on.
seen it.
Like I'm in
Jason,
the
I've
middle of
seen
this.
him do it. I've seen him do it. I've seen it.
And he would not stop or do anything else until that person finished. And then after that, he would go to the next person. But that taught me a valuable lesson that it was not about the music. It was not about the show. It was all about the people. It's about their lives. What can we give them to instill in them to make them a better person, to help them feel better about themselves, to lead them to Christ, to point them in the right direction? What can we do to uplift this person? And it literally, whether we were on stage or off, it was like that with every individual he interacted with. And it taught me a lot through the years with him on who I was and who I wanted to be as a person, as a singer. And like I said, I mean, I could go on and on and on, but that's who he was. I mean, it was beyond the stage. It's who he was on stage and off.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know him like you knew him, and that's for sure. And I sure didn't get to spend the time you did, but I was around him a little bit and I saw that side of him. I saw that massiveness, that larger than life character on stage. I would see him walk off the stage and just be as kind and personable to everybody that came up to him. And he would be standing there dripping with sweat from singing, and he would be exhausted. You could see it. He was wore out. He was hot. He was tired, but he would stand there and be so kind to everyone that came along. He always made me. You said that or you made the comment. He wanted to make people feel better about themselves. Tony Gore always made me feel better about myself. To see Tony Gore, to speak to Tony Gore, I always walked away smiling. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a lot.
And that's the way most people were, whether we were in Ireland, whether we were in Scotland, whether we were in, wherever. I mean, it didn't matter, states, in state, out of state, whatever. I mean, I was very blessed to be able to go overseas. And Tony Gore and Majesty was the first gospel group to ever go to Northern Ireland. I
Wow.
mean, Belfast, Northern Ireland. We went over there and did 3 shows, 3 nights in a row. The church was Whitewell Tabernacle. You can look it up on the internet. It's amazing. It seats like 7,000 people. Sold out, 7,000 seat arena, 3 nights in a row. And to watch him go overseas to people he had no clue who they were, and get that same response, get that same, I mean, that bigger than life, man, I want to know this guy. I want to meet this guy. I mean, they wanted to meet us all, but don't get me wrong. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, he just had, he had that presence.
Right.
And when he walked out on stage, like you said, it's like he demanded your attention. It was phenomenal, you know? And I went over there and I watched those people come by. I mean, we literally had one little table we sat at, had a stack of pictures. And after that concert, for an hour every night, we did nothing but sit there, talk to people, and sign autographs for an hour after the concert. And he treated every single one of them like he'd known them forever. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, these are people that are halfway around the world, and it's like he's treating them like, hey man, how you doing?
I was just fixing to say, probably telling big things, telling big stories.
Yeah.
Like, I can see him having a big time.
As the sun rose that morning on the day of Job's trial, he rose up to serve God as any other day, bound and determined to live in God's favor, and nothing would stand in his way. But then the messengers came one by one with their stories. In just a few moments, Job lost all he had. Great wealth and riches, the health of his body, even his children were dead. The Lord give, he take away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I served him before and I'll serve him today. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Then his wife came before him to voice her opinion. She said, you should end it, just curse God and die. Job rose from the ashes, looked toward the heavens. He brushed back the tears in his eyes. He said, the Lord give, he take away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I served him before and I'll serve him today. Blessed be the name of the Lord. When trouble comes suddenly, blessed be the name. When storm winds blow violently, blessed be the name. When Satan comes oppressing me, blessed be the name. I'll still serve God faithfully, blessed be the name. The Lord give, he take away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I've served him before and I'll serve him today. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I've served him before and I'll serve him today. Blessed be the name. Blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yeah, so it was really cool to be a part of
Jason,
that.
I'm giving this Throwback Thursday segment a little bit longer than I would normally give a Throwback Thursday segment, and here's why. Because Tony Gore and Majesty had some of the best songs that have ever existed in the history of Southern gospel music. So while we're focusing on this group today, I just want to get in some of these good songs. And we don't have to say, a whole lot about these songs, but I want to give you the opportunity as we go through and play them and we celebrate these songs, that if you've got something to say about them, I want to give you the opportunity to, because I'm sure you stood on stage many, many times and sang them. I can't pick a favorite Tony Gore song, but I do have a little list here, and I'm going to try not to get emotional. But Jason, you've heard the saying, and it's true. We all know it's true. That a song can take you back to another place. You can hear a song,
yeah.
and mentally, whether it's in a good way or it's in a bad way, you're just right back to where that song puts you. So these songs, these Tony Gore songs, they do that to me. I can hear these songs and they take me back to a whole nother place. And a song like Thank God, it's after a battle that I sing a victory song.
Yeah.
That takes me back to a lot of times when that was just where I was at, and you think, well, thank God anyway. If he does or if he doesn't, all we can do is thank him for where we're at right now. And Tony Gore could sing a song and make you believe it, whether you saw any hope in sight or whether you didn't see any hope in sight. Tony Gore could come on and sing, "Thank God for the valley that I walked through," and you could hear him say it, and it just give you hope. Well, maybe there's hope for me too, So this may
Well,
be.
there's also that, yeah, and there's that line, for the valley I walked through today, thank God for the burdens
Yeah.
that he's lifted away. Wow, what a song. I
What a
mean,
song.
if you go back and you just listen to the lyrics, I mean, that's like a whole sermon in a song. I mean, it's amazing.
It's the kind of song that doesn't matter how long it's been since I've heard it or what it comes on. The introduction comes on there. Let me stop what I'm doing and just experience it one more time. Let's do it
Yeah.
right here on the morning show. Here it is. We're throwing it back to Tony Gore and Majesty. This is the live cut, Jason. You're in this. It's 1999. This is the cut. He comes walking down from up top amongst all those people singing, and you guys are on the stage, and it's just incredible. Here it is, that great song, Thank God.
It's after a battle that I'll sing victory songs. My faith grows much stronger when I've cried all night long. I feel close to Jesus when trials are hard. So I'll sing from my heart, thank God. Thank God for the valley I walked through today. Thank God for the burdens I bear on my way. Thank God for the mountain that I have to climb. And when the sun just won't shine, thank God. But I know up ahead there's a victory for me. He'll step out in the water and he'll speak to the sea. And when the forces of evil by his power depart, I'll sing from my heart, thank God. Thank God for the valley I walked through today. Thank God all my burdens were lifted away. Thank God for the mountain I had strength to climb. And now I see the sunshine. Thank God. Oh, thank God for the the sunshine. Thank God. Oh, thank God for the mountain I had strength to climb. And now I see the sunshine. Thank God.
Jason, there's another song that, well, there's so many, but there's another one that's just one of those that you put up there in the best of all time. And it was called I Know What It's Like.
Oh yeah,
Did you get to sing on that a lot of times, I'm sure?
oh yeah. I mean, that was one that was a hit for him, and we sang every night. I mean, I could make a whole set list right now for you. I mean, from songs. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. But I Know What It Was Like was a phenomenal song. People they would eat that up, man. It was, because when you start looking at your life, you know what it's like to walk through valleys. You know what it's like to see loved ones that have to pass away, and you know that it may be a long time before you see them again in heaven one day if you're saved. There's so many things, and just I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have been there. I know what it's like to have gone through these trials. I know what it's like to go through the troubles. I know what it's like, but you know what? I serve a God that's bigger than all that. And that song it portrays all of that. I mean, it is just, what a song. Another one. I mean, honestly, you're going to hear me say that over and over and over. What a song. But I mean, to be a part of songs like that was just phenomenal.
Tony Gore never wasted a song.
Oh, no. No.
He never just had a fill in. Well, let's just fill in with this song. Every song he did was worth something. And we're going to play this song, I Know What It's Like. And I think one of the incredible things about this song is in this, 3.5, 4 minute song, I don't know how long it is, but in this song, it lets you admit where you are. Yeah. I know what this is like, and this is bad, and this is bad. But in the same song, it doesn't let you stay there. It says, yeah, but we know what this is like too. And we know what this, so there's some good to outweigh all the bad. There's plenty of good along the way. So we're celebrating this morning, throwing it back to Tony Gore and Majesty. Here's one that was mighty, mighty good. I Know What It's Like.
I know what it's like to walk through a valley and feel life's cold winter winds. I know what it's like with my heart filled with sorrow to bow to the power of sin. And I know what it's like to long to hear singing, but my soul had no music or rhyme. And I know what it's like to be so tired of the valley, but simply have no strength to climb. But I know what it's like to stand high on a mountain and feel the sun shine on me. Oh, and I know what it's like when he walks out on the water and speaks and calms life's troubled sea. And I know what it's like to just break forth and sing when my song is a sweet melody. I know what it's like when the battle is over to have Jesus standing by me. I know what it's like to stand by that graveside and say goodbye to my friends. I know what it's like to just stand back and wonder at things I can't comprehend. And I know what it's like to walk through that desert and not have one cloud in the sky. And I know what it's like to face that great disappointment and in weakness ask the Lord why. But I know what it's like to stand high on a mountain and feel the sun shine on me. And I know what it's like when He walks out on the water and speaks and calms the light troubled sea. And I know what it's like to just break forth and sing when my song is a sweet melody. I know what it's like when the battle is over to have Jesus standing by me. Oh yeah, honey, I know what it's like to just break forth and sing when my song is a sweet melody. I know what it's like, yes, when the battle is over to have Jesus standing by me. Hallelujah! Well, if you're glad you're saved tonight, say amen. I can't hear you. I said if you're glad you're saved, say amen.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not in any hurry whatsoever. We've got nothing but time. I believe we'll just listen to
I
this
know
turn around.
what it's like to stand beside that graveside and say goodbye to my friends. I know what it's like to just stand back and wonder at things I can't comprehend. And I know what it's like to walk through that desert and not have one cloud in the sky. And I've been there, honey. I know what it's like to face that great disappointment and in weakness ask my Lord why. I know what it's like to stand high on a mountain and feel the sun shine on me. And I know what it's like when He walks out on the water and speaks and calms life's troubled sea. And I know what it's like to just break forth and sing when my song is a sweet melody. I know what it's like when the battle is over to have Jesus standing by me. Have you ever noticed just when you get down so low and you don't think you can go a step further, that's when Jesus comes by and He'll wrap His arms around you, set you back up on that mountain again. I know what it's like when the battle is over to have Jesus standing by me.
All right, we're just rolling in all of these fine songs this morning, and we usually don't really give this much attention on Throwback Thursday. But Jason, there's one other song we just can't acknowledge Tony Gore and Majesty today, and not talk about Meanwhile in the Garden. You know, if you know anything about Tony Gore, if you've ever heard of him, well, you know this song. I'm gonna be quiet and let you talk about Meanwhile in the Garden.
Look, first number one hit that Tony Gore and Majesty ever had. Now, honestly, that was right before I came. So that was before I was there. But I stood on stage every night and I sang that song. And every night it was like the first time. It's one of those kind of songs. And I never will forget, I was sitting on the bus one night. We had a bus driver. His name was James Jackson. And he was sitting up front driving. And Tony would always sit in the what they call the buddy seat, which is like the passenger side, it's just a little seat in the bus. And one night I was sitting up there and I was sitting in the little wheel well, the steps that went up from where you come up onto the bus. There's just some other steps that went up onto the main part of the bus. And so Tony was sitting there. So I was just sitting on those steps next to Tony talking. And I said, so what's it like to get a song like Meanwhile in the Garden? I mean, how do you get that? And I never will forget. He told me this story. He said, well, Jason, he said, it was kind of ironic. He said, the lady that wrote that song, she wrote it and she sent it in. It was on a cassette. And he said, the boys were sitting up front one night because we were getting ready to record this new album, and they were just going through song after song after song after song. And the way it worked was they would go through it. We would listen to them. Songs we were like, no, that's not us. That's not one that we feel like fits us. That's not what we want. That's not what we're looking for. We put that in one box. And he said, then these others we would put in, a different box. And he said, I remember I was in my room in the back and they were playing the songs on the stereo up front. And he said, honestly, he said, when the song came on, he said, the mix of it was not good. He said, the lady that could sing she wrote it, but she wasn't a great singer. And so in their mind, when they were listening to this, as soon as, she started singing, they were like, no. And they took it out. And he was like, hey. He said, stop. He said, play that song again. And they were like, really? And he said, play that song again. Listen to what it's saying. He said, don't listen to the way she sings it. Don't listen to the way it's played, because I think if I remember, he told me it was played with like just an acoustic or something. And he said, I sat there, Jason. He said, as I sat there and listened to that song, he said, man, I never will forget. Now I'm getting emotional now.
Yeah.
He said, I never will forget thinking the words of that. Meanwhile in the garden, at sunrise, victory had shattered the gloom because Jesus had risen. And he said, man, I sat there and I was in chills. And he said, boys, put that in the keeper box. Yeah. He said, I took it to our producer. He said, I told him, he said, this is a hit because it's real. It's real. And man, I sat there and just to hear him talk about the passion that he had about that song and what it meant to him and what it means to us as Christians. And then to take it to his producer and say, look, this is a hit, take it and run with it. And then it comes out. And I mean, within just like 2 or 3 months, it was a number-1 hit. I mean, one of the greatest hits he ever had. But when you start thinking about that, so many people get so wrapped up in music, or they get so wrapped up in how somebody sings, or they get so wrapped up in, how they play an instrument, or they miss the message. Yeah. And the message of that song was that victory had shadowed the gloom. I mean, think about that. Is huge. Listen to those words. Just that one line right there sells the song.
And who else says it
Victory.
that way? No other song says it that way.
I know. People don't write that way anymore. I mean, and look, there's a lot of great songs out there. I've got a new album that I love every song on it. I've got some phenomenal songs, but stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, Natalie, I'll just be honest with you, man. You don't find songs like that very often. And when he started talking about that, if you could have just seen how proud he was to have recorded that. I mean, it's like a proud papa. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was like one of his kids. I mean, he was all swelled up and just he went on and on and on about that song. Yeah. And to think that the other boys were just going to pitch it away, and he was like, no. Listen to what it says.
Mhm.
Don't listen to the way it's sung. Listen to what it says. And you know what? I think a lot of people, for us as Christians, we could take a valuable lesson in that. When we're listening to a singer or we're listening to a preacher or an evangelist or whoever, don't listen to how they present it. Listen to what they're presenting, because sometimes they may not be a prolific speaker. They may not be a great orator that can get up there and can keep your attention with jokes and carry on and stuff. But if you listen so many times, there's phrases, there's things that they say that you can apply that can change your life,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just a cool story. I didn't mean to go on and on, but it's just that story to me. I never will forget that night as long as I live. I never will forget that. That was a cool turning point in my life. When I pick songs now, I use that same thing.
Yeah.
It's not about how it's played. It's not about how it's sung. Listen to what it's saying.
Well, the man had vision, didn't he?
Oh, oh my gosh, did he ever? And
Yeah.
and let me tell you something. He would drive you into the ground practicing it until you got it right.
So you got it right. Well, he
You
was
know.
just a genius. He was a genius, and he had great taste, and he had great songs. I wish I knew how many times I've listened to this throughout my lifetime. I don't know, but an awful lot of times. I always wish y'all had went back and added one more chorus. It gets to the end, and I always thought they should have done the chorus one more time.
Well, we did in concert. There was always a turnaround.
Always a turnaround, and I guess I knew that, but when we were listening on the radio, we didn't hear it. We were like, "Where is that turnaround?"
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, but in concert we would always,
yeah.
meanwhile in the garden. I mean, it
And
was just, oh
that was
gosh.
the best part of
Yeah,
it.
I
Was
mean,
that with it? But we're playing the live version today, so we're getting the turnaround and all. Here it is, Tony Gore and Majesty. This goes back to 1996, their very first #1. Here it is, amazing song. Meanwhile in the garden.
Early in the city of Jerusalem, roses were covered with dew. His friends had all come together, feeling afraid and confused. The past 3 days filled with sorrow. Hours went off and they cried. The last time they gathered together was at a tomb with the Lord sealed inside. They spoke of the joy and the pleasure, the treasures he'd brought to their soul. They spoke of the healings and the miracles. It now seems such a long time ago. They remembered the last time they saw him. He was lying in a cold, dark tomb. Meanwhile in the garden at sunrise, victory had shattered the gloom. Meanwhile in the garden, the tomb that he lay in was empty at the first light of day. And the only reminder of his presence were the grave clothes left where he lay. Meanwhile in the garden, 2 angels were waiting for Mary to tell her the news. And the only one left crying today is Satan, defeated and bruised. Yes, the only one left crying today is Satan, defeated and bruised. Meanwhile in the garden at sunrise, victory had shattered the gloom. Hallelujah! He has risen. We serve a risen Savior. Hallelujah! Meanwhile in the garden, the tomb he lay in was empty at the first light of day. the grave clothes left where he lay. Meanwhile in the garden, 2 angels were waiting for Mary to tell her the news. And the only one left crying today is Satan, defeated and bruised. Yes, the only one left crying today is Satan, defeated and bruised. Meanwhile in the garden at sunrise, victory had shattered the gloom.
Well, Jason, that crowd still couldn't get enough of that song. Tony Gore turned it around and ended up doing it a third time. The crowd just loved it. We love it.
Well, I thank you so much for allowing me to be on here this morning. And people can go on YouTube. They can find these videos on YouTube.
And they should.
There's tons of them.
Yeah, they should.
I mean, that what you're getting a lot of that from is from the live version was created at Winston, the LJVM, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It was the Coliseum there, 17,000 people. It was crazy. But yeah, they can go online, look it up. Tony Gore and Majesty live, LJVM Coliseum, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. They can get all that they want.
Yeah. Well, Jason, I appreciate you spending some time with us on the morning show, helping us to remember and to honor Tony Gore and Majesty. Before you go, spend just a minute or two. I want to know about what's going on with you and your family ministry. Tell us about that.
Hey, look, going on 9 years now. This coming May will be 9 years I've had my own ministry. God has used us. We've been all over the United States, Canada, 47 different states. As of 2 weeks ago, we are now 10 people shy of seeing 1,000 people walk down an aisle and get saved. I mean, God has just been using what we're doing. And if anybody wants to kind of check me out and see what we're doing, they can go to my website. It's just Jason Runnels, RUNNELS, Jason Runnels Ministries.com. My son does sing with me. He's 21. He does a lot of the stuff with me when I'm singing in the South. He is a welder, has a job. And so I fly him to some of my bigger dates, but a lot of time I'm by myself, but he does sing with me a lot. But yeah, I mean, ordained to preach back in 2019, been doing a lot of homecoming revivals, where I'm preaching and singing. So, you know, God's using it. We're loving what we're doing, and as long as He continues to give me voice to sing and the ability to go, we're going to go.
Yeah, we're proud of you. We're on your side. We're on your team. We're going to be praying for you. Thank you for being on the morning show.
Hey, man, it has been so good to talk to you again.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of it.
You got a friend right here. Do not forget it.
All right, Natalie. Thank you so much.
And tell your daddy I said, hey, we got our picture made together the other night over at McGee.
Oh, I know. As soon as he sent it to me, as soon as y'all got done, he said, look who I met.
It was a lot of fun. All right, we're going out with one more from Tony Gore. Jason, we'll talk again soon, okay?
Sounds good. God bless.
All right.
I heard the story of the cross when I was but a child, but I let it lay, just pushed away for a long, long while, until one dark and stormy night the Spirit made us call. Then He gave me faith to believe, and I believed it all. Yes, I believe that Jesus' blood has washed away my sin. I believe His Spirit keeps and guides me from within. Oh, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call, I'll rise to live beyond the grave. Oh, I believe it all. Many things that Jesus said I can't quite understand, but I know He included me in His salvation plan.